come Japan doesn't increase interest rates? Yeah, it's related to political situation in Middle East Asia. Welcome back to the next episode. My name is Mabu Sensei. Previously, on the last video, I would have mentioned that excessive weak yen was triggered by the potential tensions in the Middle East Asia. The US decided not to increase interest rates for the time being while Japan wants to increase. But actually, Japan cannot increase it. You see the potential gap between the US and Japan? The US hesitates decreasing interest rates because the US economy is still stable. The US dollar is still popular like Lady Gaga, although the Japanese yen is unpopular. That's why it's quite risky for Japan to increase interest rates dramatically right away. That's why the weak yen is unstoppable. For the second reason, the conflict and the potential tensions seems to be triggered for the weak yen. Some people say that as escalating political tensions between Israel and Hamas in the Middle East, neighbor countries are getting trouble in conflicts. It is still ongoing and in the middle of a political and territorial dispute. Especially Israel has a strong bond with the US government, whereas Iran doesn't like the US government. I'm talking about this because I got these resources from public media like TV and newspaper, so I don't mention which country is right or bad. But because of conflict, to be honest, Japan's economy is getting worse and worse. As the warfare is getting harder and harder as time goes by, the price of oil will automatically go up. Japan has limited natural resources, especially as I mentioned in the first video. So Japan has to import oil from the Middle East Asia all the time because the Middle East is a major oil producing regions. The Middle East Asia is an exporter and Japan is an importer, right? When the tensions escalate in the Middle East Asia, there is nothing good for Japan. Japan always has to keep the balance with them if we want a stable economy. When the oil price goes up, we have to have the global inflation pressure, which means the US cannot decrease interest rates and Japan cannot increase interest rates. So we end up to have a biggest differences with interest rates, right? When the gap is facilitated, we end up to a weaker Japanese yen. That seems to be a second reason why we are having extreme weak yen right now. But you know what? I found this article from TV and newspapers, but I don't think it's quite accurate information, to be honest. I don't think an increase in oil price facilitated the excessive weak yen. You know what? I believe the major root cause of the weak yen that is happening right now, it's supposed to be what we are doing domestically. If I just describe transfer this situation into one word, I think I can tell you that Japan doesn't have a potential to grow up themselves. I mean, Japan is not capable of doing things in business, if I point it out specifically. What I mean is that here's my perspective, okay? Everyone is looking at the chart for foreign exchange rate like euro, Chinese yuan, pound, Australian dollar, Swiss franc, and Korean won, so to speak. And they are checking out the multiple exchange rate as compared to the Japanese yen, and they notice that the yen is the least variable currency in the world. Do you understand why? Because of the low Japanese economic growth rate, population decline, declining birth rate, and age populations. Most people, like investors, security bank, and people loving money, do not really look at the background about why economy is getting worse. Yeah, they just care about the which way, the economy will be heading to. They guess, analyze, and anticipate estimate the potential risk, and then they do things by looking at the chart technically, because individuals cannot do big things like how to stop the chronic aging population, and more like how to save Japanese economy. When people start buying Japanese yen, more people also start buying same currency day after day. Japanese society social issue with aging population, like I said, population decline, low birth rate, and stuff like that, gradually generates one issue after another. That's why weak yen is unstoppable. The world people do not really want to hold Japanese yen right now, because the value of yen is extremely low. Over the last 5 years, the value of yen keeps falling. They don't care. Yeah, we don't care. Nobody cares because that's what it is. Then, how is the Japanese government supposed to handle this big issue? What is the next step? Namely, currency intervention. In this video, probably I would say foreign exchange intervention would be better, or FX interventions. Let me just call it that way, okay? Yeah, FX intervention is a monetary policy tool implemented by a central bank or government to influence the value of home currency in relation to the other currency in foreign exchange market. So, for now, central bank absolutely needs to buy Japanese yen to alter its exchange rate, because the value of yen needs to be stabilized at the exchange rate. 156 or 7 Japanese yen per dollar is too expensive for Japanese people. So, we wish it should be back to 120 or 130 Japanese yen per dollar or around. My expectation is, of course, the central bank buys back a tremendous amount of Japanese yen, because they hold a lot of the US dollar. They can sell their US dollar and buy yen, because yen is unpopular at the moment. Do you understand me? Do you understand exactly what I'm talking about? Don't confuse my perspective, okay? I'll give you an easy example here. Do you know the music called Bad Romance or Poker Face, produced by Lady Gaga? Yeah, I'm sorry, my favorite music is too old, but never mind that. Yeah, if Lady Gaga makes you wanna buy her music, Lady Gaga is more popular and her sales profit will be increased. It makes sense, right? However, when you stop buying her music, Lady Gaga is not happy. If she knows her music is sold at 50 cents in the Apple store or discount store, she's not happy. What she's gonna do? I think she's gonna buy back her music and get it back with $10 or stuff like that. Yeah, with a higher price at $10. Do you think it's stupid? That's currency intervention, so to speak. Japan itself buys Japanese yen. Don't you think it's sad? That's right. This currency intervention is not a permanent solution. Okay, and they can't take a same monetary policy many times. Sure things. Lady Gaga doesn't buy back her music, which released more than 10 years ago. She's gonna be out of cash, right? Yeah, no money left in her pockets, because American economy is still good, popular as compared to yen. Everyone wants to hold the US dollar because interest is so high. Japan's central bank can produce more yen. Yeah, they can print out more money and bills as they want, but the US dollar they hold is limited. If they implemented currency interventions, I mean buy back Japanese yen, they're gonna be out of cash with US dollar. Their budget is gone. The preparation budget for the foreign exchange held by the U.S. government seems to be 180 trillion yen. The number is too huge for normal people. I can't count with my fingers. Yeah, the number with trillion sounds like astronomy, but it doesn't mean central bank can spend more. Because most part of the preparation budget is composed of American government bonds. Government bonds gives you a platform to save money through a unique savings scheme. You can purchase bonds which are similar to the certificate of deposit, and you can earn annual returns based on how much you invested in. Japan purchased a lot of American government bonds when the value of yen was so much appreciated. But if Japanese government sells tons of American government bonds with this time, the U.S. government is not happy. Of course, the U.S. Owns Japan. The U.S. is supposed to appreciate Japan because Japan purchased American government bonds a lot when the U.S. economy was so down in 2008. However, if the U.S. government knows that Japan will sell government bonds because Japan tends to make yen appreciate in the foreign exchange market, then the U.S. government is gonna be like, oh, wait a second. For sure, they're gonna be uncomfortable. That's why Japanese government hesitates selling them all. It seems like they can only sell 19 trillion Japanese yen, which is 1/10 of the whole government bonds. That is the budget of FX intervention to be approved. You can just take one shot. Just one shot is allowed to avoid excessive yen depreciations. Actually, for temporary solution, it works. Exchange intervention works. Lady Gaga buys back her music at a higher price, and then she may be able to gain her population at the moment, but it doesn't last forever. She's gonna be forgotten by people in 1 year or after the year, and the next generation of the superstar singer is gonna be on the big stage instead of Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga gets kicked out. The same thing is gonna happen to exchange market. The Japanese government actually implemented FX intervention 2 years ago. The value of yen was back until 125 Japanese yen per dollar, but after 1 year, 2 years, it was depreciated so much again. They spent like 9 trillion Japanese yen for FX interventions, but they had just both time, it didn't last forever. When they are out of budget, the weak yen is truly unstoppable. Then, what is the next approach? What is the government is supposed to do next? Namely, increase in interest rates. The Bank of Japan is being asked to make big decisions to increase interest rates right now, but they can't. They are making an effort to do so, but they can't. The former governor of the Bank of Japan, Kuroda-san, was promoting the weak yen in 2012, but the current government is now suggesting to cancel negative interest rate policy. Looking back at the past 10 years in Japan, the negative interest rate system were super effective to stimulate its economy and its economic growth, because negative interest rates were strongly encouraged to borrow and spend money rather than save as keeping the money in the bank account, which would have resulted in a economic slowdown. So the weak yen was welcomed in Japanese society for 10 years or longer. But the situation right now is shifting to the opposite. For business owner, investors, and the people doing any business, the negative interest was a really good monetary policy because it was easy to borrow money from the bank and invest it in. The unprecedented monetary easing that the Bank of Japan implemented would have achieved a dramatic economic growth by 2%. We are supposed to be so happy with that. However, I'm wondering if it is true. For the sake of the tentative economic success that we gained in exchange with our 10 years, we have created a big assignment, which is government bonds. Government bonds is a debit that the government issues. How much government bonds are outstanding in Japan do you think we have? According to the public release by the Ministry of Finance, 1,000 trillion Japanese yen. The outstanding amount is ranked at number 1 in the world. I'm so terrified. The truth is that the Bank of Japan holds half of them. I'll give you an update as to what's going on with the Japanese government bonds in the next video. Okay? Please stay tuned and I'll see you in a minute. Thanks for watching.